Or if images of snakes make you uncomfortable, you may want to either close your eyes or leave the room, because there'll be a lot of pictures. All right, the exciting world of snakes. I'm going to start with a short story. As you can tell, it's a story about a snake. One time in 2014, my siblings and I were playing outside, and Ian, who's my younger brother, points out and says, "Hey, there's a snake." And we all got super excited because we haven't seen a snake at our house before or since this incident. So we all run inside, we grab our leather gloves, we grab our coats because we're going to be safe, and we go outside ready to grab the snake. Now, unfortunately, we can only see part of it. We can only see between the head and the tail. We couldn't see the head, and we couldn't see the tail. So as Ian was about to grab it, I say, "Wait a second, what if it's a rattlesnake? We don't want to grab a rattlesnake, this is a bad idea." So I run back inside, and I grab all my books, because I had all these books about snakes, and I try and figure out, is this a rattlesnake? I look at all my pictures, I look at all the books, and they're like, "Hurry, Rachel, it's getting away." So I run back outside and say, "Okay, I'm 70% sure it's not a rattlesnake." So Ian goes and grabs it, and luckily, it wasn't a rattlesnake. So we named the snake Drake, which actually means snake, and it turned out he was a bull snake, which I discovered after researching. I researched his habits and his coloring and his patterns, and this got me super excited about snakes. So I learned everything from pythons to boas to corn snakes, and I love snakes. Well, because I love this world of snakes, and I want to share my world with you, I'm going to get you guys started on some basics. The Webster Dictionary defines a snake as any of numerous limbless, scaled reptiles with long tapering bodies and with salivary glands, often modified to produce venom. Now this means they may or may not be venomous. Not all snakes are venomous. And they all are cold-blooded, they all have forked tongues, and according to renowned reptile curator Mark O'Shea, there are nearly 3,000 living species of snakes. Now with so many types of snakes, how do we even get started? Well, I've chosen 3 very particular ones to get you guys kind of exposed to this world of snakes. Let's look at an example of a unique snake shape with the death adder. Fun name. You can read about this one in Spectacular Snakes of Australia because it is from Australia. It is venomous, extremely lethal, and it has a very unique shape. As you can see, it tapers near the end of its tail. This is what I call the snake commando, because what the snake does is when it wants to eat, it flattens out its whole body except for that tip of its tail. It buries itself in leaves and dirt, and because it's dark colored, it blends in. And then it moves its tail to trick its prey into thinking it's either a grub or a worm. So they go over to try and eat it, and then it jumps out at them with lightning speed and poisons them. And then it gets its food. Well, let's jump on over to a non-venomous friend, the reticulated python. This you can read about in boas and pythons of the world. This snake is the world's longest snake. A small one is 19 feet long. A big one is 32 feet. As you can see in the picture, it is very massive. It's even bigger than the anaconda, even though the anaconda is more well known. This snake is not venomous, it is a constrictor. This means that it chokes its prey. Now, even though that means it doesn't have venom, I don't think I would want to be choked by that thing. It lives in Southeast Asia, so luckily nowhere close. Now, it's actually named for its reticulated or zigzag stripe parallel spots pattern on its back. And its diet, when it's young, it eats rodents. But as it gets bigger, it eats deer, pigs, and in extreme cases, even humans. Although it's usually fatal with the snake. If you ever want to scare yourself, look at pictures of a reticulated python eating someone. Well, now that I've successfully given everybody nightmares, let's slither on over to one of our more fun snakes, the horned viper. This one you can read about in an encyclopedia of deserts because it loves the desert. It lives in the Sahara, and if you look at it right above its eye, it kind of has a funny spike. That's a scale, which is why it's called the horned viper. It's venomous, but actually very docile. It doesn't like biting people unless you make it really mad, because it's kind of shy. It eats kangaroo rats, and actually during the day, because it's so hot, it'll go down into the burrows of the kangaroo rats and hang out with them and eat them during the day, or it will bury itself in the sand. Now this one's really fun. It's called the sidewinder because of a very distinct motion that this snake does. So you'll see it's kind of winding itself up and moving, and it leaves a very distinct pattern in sand, which is why it's called the sidewinder. So it looks almost like it's stepping on the sand. Well, this safari has been time to circle on home and review. With 3,000 subspecies, it's no surprise that they differ. In shape, as we saw with the death adder and its unique tail, in size, as we saw with the gigantic reticulated python, and in behavior or climate, as we saw with the sidewinder. For people who like researching snakes and who want to be scholars, that means there's more to study. You now have 2,997 more snakes to study, if you're interested. Now, if you're not a scholar, which I'm assuming most of you don't want to study about snakes, you can use your knowledge to stump your friends. I doubt very many people have heard of the reticulated python or the death adder. Well, thank you for your time, and if you're interested, here are some sources if you'd like some research starters. Thank you.